And now we're ready for another interesting and fabulous episode of the Rock Your Stories talk show Christmas special. The secrets will be revealed. And my guest today is Cécile Bastien Remy. Did I get that right, Cécile?
It was perfect. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody.
Hi, I'm not a good French-speaking person. You know, I'm totally lost when it comes to French. But I'm not totally lost when it comes to knowing who you should be better related to and get to know and learn from. Sponging in to Cécile today, she is known as a public speaking Jedi, and I know why. Because she is such an energetic and enthusiastic and quick thinking person, and I really love to get to know you, Cécile, and I totally can relate to your clients' feedback on you, that you are such a pumped up person, and when they have met you, they are pumped up, they are ready to go, and they're ready to rock the stage. I like to use the word rock. Because it's about rocking your stories, right?
That's right.
And this will be so fun because you have promised today we will talk about the signature speech. Yeah, and you know the reason why is that we had a small a conversation on Facebook, and I said I used to call it brand speech, and I said, oh, signature speech, that's a new thing for me. What do you think about that? Brand speech, signature speech?
I think this is pretty much the same. Basically, it's something that's going to help you develop your business, and not only for speakers, it's for every single entrepreneur, because your company is you. So you have to make your audience, your target clients, understand why you do it and why you're so special to do it and what they will get from you.
Yeah, exactly. And as I see it, I said this is the same, because a signature is your social brand, and that's what I'm talking about. Your social brand, you need to make a social impact, get your stories out there. It's like story branding, and that signature speech or brand speech is all about telling the world, inform them, motivate them, whatever, inspire them to understand what your business is about.
I know, and you have to make it personal, because we are only people, and even if the digital age is now disrupting business, at the end of the day, you only buy from people. And that's why it's so important that your signature or brand speech is so personal and is about you, and how do you make it relatable to other people.
Yeah. And today we are going to talk about this signature speech or brand speech, whatever we call it, because I'm from Sweden. Sweden compared to France, as we understand it in Sweden, there's a big difference. We don't do public speaking that much in Sweden. We don't debate. We don't, So the very idea of having a signature speech or a brand speech is kind of, alien to us. We don't really know what it is. Is it very usual to have that in France?
In France, I don't know, because I live in Switzerland. But, and I think this is people start to understand the value of having your own brand, online, offline, having recognizable. It's like you have to be your own logo. And the signature speech will help you to carry that brand, the image you want to carry about you. But what I know in France is we love to debate. We love to, just even if we agree with the person that talks, we want to push to the edge of the idea and see, how resistant you are in what you say. So it's more testing the value of what the others are saying, but there is not necessarily a lot of content. It's more trying to prove the other is wrong. So it's not so much use, I would say, for branding in that such, So we love to talk in France. Yeah. That's for sure.
That sounds a bit like Sweden. So let's drop the countries. But, many people in Sweden and outside of Sweden think that it's all about talking. I can talk. I can tell them about my business. But this is not really what we're talking about here, right?
That's right. It has to be put together in a certain way that clients will understand, and automatically whoever is your audience, they will get something out of it for themselves that they can apply as well. So it's not only your story, but you have to be able to link it to something special, something people use, something educational.
Yeah, and as I see it, one very important aspect of this signature speech is that it always needs to be business driving.
Yes, indeed.
It should drive your business home. And sometimes people tell me, oh, this was such a great speech. Weren't you happy? Because I saw the audience was happy and they were, enthusiastic and everything. And they tell you that it was great. And I say, yes, that's fine. But the most important thing for me is that they sign up.
That they sign up. And usually, when you've been making an impact, when a couple of weeks after you talk, people come back to you and say, I really want to work with you. That's when you basically crafted your signature speech in such a way that people remember you and want to take action to work with you even months after.
Exactly. And that's what I mean with sign up. Because of course, you're just pitching, but you might have a business where you have a signature speak like a pitch. You want to pitch for money. So it doesn't matter if everyone thinks it's nice if you don't get investors.
Nice is not good enough in business.
No, and if you don't get clients, if you don't get business out of it, right? Then it's wasted marketing resources. You are investing, it's wasted what you're investing, right? So that's the thing with the signature speech for me. And as you said, it should be content, it should be information, it should be inspiring and motivating and entertaining, of course, very entertaining. Yes. And give value.
Absolutely. Yeah. Completely agree with you on that.
Yeah. So then we have recognized it's important to have a signature speech.
Yeah. Indeed.
That's a secret number one. You really need to understand what a signature speech is and that it is important for you to have a great one.
Yeah. For every entrepreneur. Yes. And it also gives you as well, even like if you're going to, once you have your signature speech in mind with a strong clarity and strong goal, you can use that. It's going to actually help you with whatever marketing you will be doing, because it's like a red thread. This is your mark. This is your logo. You can really make the comparison and the analogy with the logo, except that it's not a physical signature. It's just your voice.
Yes, it's not just your voice. This is such a huge, important part of your voice. And as you said, it's part of everything else you do. And what I realized is that when I help clients to develop this, and I'm sure you have the same experience, Cécile, is that a huge part of that is helping them to pin down their voice.
Exactly.
Why they need it, and how it fits into their business plan.
It's basically part of the preparation, basically. You need to have... when the client works on their signature speech, you have to go through the why. Why do you want to do it? Yes. Why does it matter? Why is it going to matter to the audience? What will they get into it? You have to work on the clarity. It's true for one speech for a specific conference or on the boardroom table, but it's even truer. I don't know if it's a word, but it's even more important when it's going to be your signature speech, because it's about your brand. And if you don't have clarity on that, people won't feel the clarity and they will be confused, and confusion is not going to bring business.
Yeah. So I must ask you, is it true for you as well that when you help clients develop a signature speech, you also help them gain clarity on their whole business?
Yeah. It's part of it. Usually when they come, they have they have already a very strong idea. I think, for instance, right now I'm working with a startup company, and they are very, very clear about what is it that they want to do. And that makes the job so much easier because they see results quicker, because there is just like the foundation of what needs to be clear is already there. So it's a massive asset, I would say, to start a signature speech. So the why you do it and why you want to do it for other people is key.
Yes. I started out with helping. My business a few years ago started with that I wanted to help business owners to write a speech. And what I discovered then was that they were not clear of their why.
Mm-hmm.
or who they were. So I had to put down a lot of work on that part, because if you don't know why you are on stage and why the audience is in the audience, you know, and what you can't communicate in a sharp way, you can't create that business pitch. So I had to develop a huge process that started far
away to be able to
writing. So that's where my social impact program started to take form or shape, because I realized that this is a huge need. And that I wasn't only a speechwriter for them or a coach. I was a business development coach suddenly, and marketing coach. I didn't even realize that this was something I was good at, but this is what we do. Because speaking about the business, like everything else, you speak a lot about it, you realize things about yourself, you realize things about your target group or your client, the people you need to help. And it's good for your business to gain that clarity, and it makes you super sharp.
Yeah, exactly. I help them more about, I mean, most of the clients I have is when they come, they have clarity, but they need help with the confidence. Confidence for them to go on stage and present about it. So just making them aware that, you know what, it's fine. Making them aware that people want to see somebody that is human, that is vulnerable, but it is completely at ease with their concept, and the concept can go out into the world and it will be fine. Because if it's well prepared, if it's relatable, if you bring storytelling into your signature speech, if you bring how much value you brought to yourself, people are going to want to buy from you or follow you or whatever is your call to action. So it's for me, it's definitely more the confidence part that where I help people to go on stage. Of course, there is the technique. You can't, ignore the technique of rhetoric, but the confidence is definitely something that I know I can help.
Yeah, and that comes from being completely 1000% sure that I know that this is important for someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And that the world need to hear this.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, indeed.
If there is a fire, no one on this earth would hesitate going out to the people and say, beware, there is a fire, keep out, clear out, an alarm. So I say, if you are super clear on that this is an urgent message, you will find your confidence to tell the world about it. I
know, completely. Yeah, exactly. Because then it becomes like an emergency that comes from inside,
yes.
And it's comes from the gut. And if it comes from the gut, it's usually pretty good.
It is. So, and it's all about finding your passion and put words on it and trust that people wants to hear about it. So true. And we have talked about that you really need one. And that's all about the process of a why, and gaining clarity on your why. And that gives you confidence.
Yeah.
So what is it that makes people not understand there are so many components in a signature speech?
Yeah.
Because
indeed.
there's also rhetorics, right?
Yeah, that's right. You have rhetoric. And I mean, the way basically for your signature speech, what you need is the clear idea of your topic, your clear why, stories that will make you relatable, things that you understood and you gain from that experience. It's really the hero's journey, I would say. And what helped you to go over the experience of finding that treasure you found and that you want to give to the audience, it's what's going to be very important for the audience, because it has to be something that they can relate to. Okay. Once you have those elements very clear, then you have to study who is going to be into the audience. And that's something you said, and the context. So once you have those elements, you have to be flexible and be able to change and adapt your signature speech to whatever circumstances. Sometimes the circumstances are just going to be the time. You might have just 2 minutes. Is your signature speech can be reduced to 2 minutes. Or it could be 18 minutes. Think about TEDx, Not everybody can go on the TEDx stage to share the signature speech, because sometimes it's just not relevant to that stage. But think about the different circumstances where you could deliver it. So that's why it's so important to go so deep into that story and bring so many elements to it. And the way I do it, I use Post-it. I love using Post-it when I create something for myself or for clients. And you put all the ideas, and the wall is completely covered with colorful stickers. And then you just peel the one that will be relevant, and you just save them into a part. And then that's how you start organizing it. But the one that are not relevant for that specific speech you're going to deliver, keep them in mind, because they can always be used later on in other circumstances, other context, other audience. Yeah.
So you really need to choose, pick and choose.
Yeah, you have to be extremely, for each piece of idea you had, you have to pick up the Post-it and say, does it matter? Is it relevant to that context, that audience, and this setting for that specific? And you have to be critical. You know, it's like, you know, you go to the jungle and you go with a machete, you know, there is too many things. You just have to, you know, make your way through. And again, you talked about focus. This is what it is all about. You have to laser beam.
Yes.
To make sure that it gets to the heart and to the head of your clients or the audience.
And you have to start with the end, as I say. You need to be very clear, clarity again. What is it that you want?
Yeah.
Because the signature speech is very much about the audience, as I see it. You need to, as you say, pick and choose to reach the audience, to give the audience, to serve the audience, be generous to the audience. But, well, when it comes down to the, you know, you need to know what's in it for me as a speaker. What is it that I really, really want to achieve with this speech?
Yeah.
And that's the ending. And I've heard so many speeches from business owners and entrepreneurs or professionals. They do a splendid job, but they miss out of the ending.
At the end. Well, usually I always, one of the Post-its, you know, before I craft the speech in itself is, what is it that I want the audience to know? What I want them to feel. That's going to be the whole tonality of the speech. What do I want them to do? Action. If there is no call to action, nothing will happen.
No. And you know, and a good call to action is actually very hard to create.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes, and I mean, I don't know if it's the same in Sweden, but I feel like in Europe in general, and it's very interesting. I had this conversation with somebody coming from Singapore, somebody coming from Argentina yesterday. And the sales role, asking for something, or I would say the exchange of service, you know, I provide a service, you give me money. There is at some point a sales aspect to it. People are extremely uncomfortable with it in Europe. It's like it's dirty. And I just read a book. It was actually a pretty badly written book, but within the same sentence, it was about body language, this one. And within the same sentence, it says liars and salespeople. And then he started to describe something of the body language. But that says so much, okay? When you're an entrepreneur, you will have to put the hat of a salesperson, you know? But it's not dirty. This is, you know, we have an expertise that other people don't have. And it's just a question of exchanging expertise. So it's fine to ask and to say, I'm here to help because I've got the expertise to make you gain business, to make you convince your team, to make you move things forward. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said this because sometimes people look very much on the America and the USA. And there are coaches and trainers flying in from you know, America, selling their services, and they want to help Swedish entrepreneurs and speakers to sell their services. You know, they have these packages and concepts, and we have them in Sweden. They come from time to time. But truth is that their concept does not work in Sweden. And as you say, in Europe, because in Sweden, the audience, when you have your signature speech, the audience is not ready. They're not there to buy.
Yeah.
It's only the starting point of a journey of relationship.
Yeah.
So what you can do is to create something that makes them want to follow you, and then offer them an easy, it's easy step to continue this relationship.
Yeah.
That is not salesy. It's not salesy, but it's easy and it's generous from you again. And it makes easy for people to follow you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be interesting for the auditor to hear perhaps some examples. Mm-hmm. And the one I'm thinking about, it could be as simple as that is, if you want to know more, please go onto my website, subscribe, and I can just basically share with you on a regular basis, mm-hmm. about that specific topic. It could be as simple as that.
Yeah. But it can also be, we've been talking about an interesting subject. Like if a rose gardener were presenting his businesses by giving tips about great roses that won't die in the European context, like Sweden is very hot country for roses. So maybe he is promoting his business with a speech about roses, mm-hmm. Why they die and stuff, and giving tips on how they can survive. And in the end, he can say, well, I have this PDF with a list of good varieties of roses that match our climate, and if you want it, just sign my list.
Exactly, just little things like that, and then you keep in touch, and then whatever happens. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But at some point you have to start getting out there. I mean, of course, if you're pitching, then that's a different story, because sometimes you have to include elements of your signature of who you are into like your business. And then if you're in front of an investor, do not forget to say, I have a solution to save the world. I need your money to make it happen. It could be as simple as that.
Actually, if you're in front of an investor, you need to talk money, because that's the only thing they want to hear.
Exactly. You can't be shy about money. It has to be extremely detailed as well, and how much revenue they can get.
Money.
It's all about the money, exactly.
It is. But we can't. The thing sell in the room to private persons in Sweden is not happening.
No. You just have to. You have to extend. I mean, the call to action could be like an extended hand to carry on. But it can. Yeah. But no, I understand. In Europe, it's people will just freeze and go. I mean, you will physically see them going back to their seat, going, "Oh, I feel attacked." Yeah.
And now it's uncomfortable because you asked me for money.
Exactly.
And even if I say...
And I feel trapped, and I feel like I'm being manipulated. And that's
And that's really, really, tricky.
It's dangerous.
But I just heard one speaker saying it out loud, and that's another technique. And he gave a very generous, a lot of contents and everything. And then he said, I've been so generous here. I've given you so much, and it's just that I know you don't like me selling myself. I know you don't like that. But what about I offer you this opportunity to sign my list? Would that be okay? And they say yes.
Yeah. Because
you ask for permission, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you ask for permission, it's a completely different story. And I think this is good. I mean, look now, like with the digital, you always have to ask for permission, or people will have to actually take action into clicking the button of subscribe, but they always have the opportunity to unsubscribe, So you have to take that into account, but I think asking for permission is completely fine. Yeah. And people feel empowered as well. Mm.
Mm. And it's all about knowing your audience.
Exactly. Again, always coming back to the basic. Yeah, it's true. But it takes a bit of time, for all those elements to sink in. I mean, we're both passionate about public speaking, and we love studying and applying all those concepts. But for somebody who is not, they know they need it to go to the next stage. It's a lot of information to take on, and so you just have to keep repeating. What's important is the audience.
Yeah, so now we know you really need one to enhance your business, get clarities and get new clients. And it's a process, and it will give you so much more out of your business because of your confidence and, you're relatable and everything. And it's a huge process to create one. So is that maybe the reason why so few have it?
I think, it is, and it's also, I feel that a recent concept, because branding is only really starting to become more and more accessible. Like we talk more and more about branding, and you've got more success stories as well, where you feel, wow, you know what, that person, like Virgin, for instance, it's a branding exercise, and the guy is just really smart at doing it. You've got Gary Vee, you know, you've got so many big entrepreneurs going out there and branding themselves. And you know what? What they do is they do videos all the time, and they are always present on the social media because it's a beautiful platform to give so many tastes of your signature speech.
Yes.
You know, and and you know what? If you don't like it, you can always delete and start again and start again. And the best ones, I think, are the one that are the most natural. But to sound natural, you have to prepare. I think it's Mark Twain who said, when I prepare an impromptu speech, it takes me a good 3 months. You know, so it's just a question of preparation. Yeah, but again, clarity, preparation, practice, and then delivery.
Yeah, and you know, the problem is, at least for among the people I know, Sweden, northern countries, they seem to think that just because it sounds natural, it's not rehearsed.
Well, then, you know, then you're good. Then you know you're good.
Yeah, and you know, I've been to stand-up comedy shows, for instance, and my friends are like in awe. Oh, he's so quick thinking. I don't believe that she can come up with some bright ideas, doing this and doing that. And I said, no, it's rehearsed. She's done this for years.
I know. It's a muscle to exercise as well, you know. I know. And you know, if you pick up something from the audience, you know, it could be a friend as well throwing a comment, you know, it could happen. But it's like everything. You want to get big muscles on your arms, you have to just do push-ups. You want to be at ease and confident on stage, just go out there and do it and do it and do it even more. You know, it's all a question of practice, and it's a sport. I see, you know, public speaking as a sport.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I have done public stand-up comedy actually.
Okay.
And you know, those one-liners takes weeks to create.
And the timing and everything, yeah.
And then it sounds like I've done it forever. And sometimes I pick something up when I do a presentation, perhaps my signature speech or a workshop or anything, and something good happens just by chance, and then I save it for later. I use it. I use that as material, and I make it even better, and then I reuse it, and I can use it again, and people think, oh, she's such a quick thinker. But it's something I picked up, it's something I worked on, and I can use it again. And sometimes you're lucky and it happens in the room, but something that happens in the room rarely works a second time. If you don't just cultivate it, right? Again,
context, audience.
Yes. Context, audience, and that's why sometimes people can tell you, this is funny, you should take that with you up on stage. And I was like, it's not fun on stage. It's funny. No one else.
I know.
Yeah, and when I help my clients to create the 7-second stories, it's a story in 7 seconds. It takes weeks. Yeah. It takes a long
completely.
Time. Yeah, I can do it.
You know what I do? I do when I train on pitching, we have different pitch. And then we've got what I call the Twitter pitch, 140 character tweet. Yes. And that's the one you do at the very, very, very end of the program. Yeah, because you can only, you can only target down, like, you know, you put your ideas and then you start with the machete, you know, you don't need that word. You don't need that word. You know, make it shorter. And then at the end, you've got the Twitter pitch. Yes. Usually that's when a lot of sweat has been.
And then you will need to go to the 7-second pitch. That's 11 words.
Wow, excellent.
And you know, I do it on my workshops with some people. I help them. I tell them how to do it, and I help a few for fun. It's great fun, and I usually manage to create 2 or 3 7-second pitches for the one that's in the audience. Okay. But the truth is that that's fun right there and then. But if they really want something that they can use and, you know, work with, if you're lucky, you can use it. But normally you need to then go back to the drawing desk and start working seriously for weeks to really nail it, right?
Oh, completely. And I mean, a pitch is a work in process constantly. But what I do as well with the client, usually when they have like a pitch, I make them record every single pitch, you know, into some sort of matrix. I call it the matrix, you know, with the attention grabber. And then you can create many. And then you know the core of the solution you provide to which problem, and then the call to action. So they can, whenever they hear themselves saying something, I ask them, record it. And then if you know you're going to be in certain circumstances, just map out, I'll take this hook with that and that, you know, and then you create so many pitch. But the constant, there is a congruence, you know, there is like a common element to it. And again, it's back to signature speech as well. You have to be 100% sure of the core. The clarity must be there to create the core, and then you can expand.
Yeah. And I imagine that the opening line is what I call a 7-second story.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
exactly. That's the hook.
Because that needs to be developed up then.
Yeah.
I think we could talk about this forever, Cécile.
I know.
Yeah. So we really need to round this up. Is there anything special you want to say or offer or, you know, give away?
Right. I started my business not very long ago, but something I always wanted to put into my business plan was to give back. Mm-hmm. And the way I want to give back is very simple. It's just to give my time. Mm-hmm. So what I'll do is once a month, I've been created Coffee for Impact. So Coffee for Impact. Mm-hmm. You send me an email with that in the subject. And once a month, I will print out the name of whoever sent me the Coffee for Impact, and I will pick up the name. Mm-hmm. And what will happen then is that we have an hour where together we start working on your public speaking skills. Mm-hmm. At the end of the session, you have two options. You can either make a contribution or you may not. If you do make a contribution, all the money will go to a room to read, which supports education for little girls in places where education is not that available everywhere.
That's beautiful. It's giving two ways, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think for me, it was very important it was part of what I wanted to do, because at the end of the day, as a public speaking Jedi, as a public speaking trainer, you help people to have a voice. Everybody's message is important. Don't die without sharing it. But the way you share it has to be well crafted so the others understand, you know, the value of your story and what you learn from it. And that's why I really want everybody to be able to share their stories. And that's part of my business plan. Et voilà, as we say in French. Coffee for Impact.
Yes.
To speak for impact.
Yes. And you do it on Skype as well, I think, right?
Yeah, depending. If people can come to my village to have coffee, I will love it. But, you know, I know that nowadays we live digitally. So, yes, we do that over Skype or over Zoom, whatever is suitable. Yeah.
Yes. And you'll find the information in the byline, I hope, because I will insert it. So it's no problem. Yes. Is there anything we want to just boil it down? I have like 4 points.
Okay.
Pick up this secret. So the first secret is, I think you will now realize that you really need a good signature speech, right? We all need a good signature speech.
Yeah.
2, creating this is a huge process that will help you find your why, your clarity and your confidence, among others, and your business plan will be more sharper, as I say. And number 3 is, don't fool yourself. You have your passion, you have your clarity, but you need the rhetorics. The elements need to be there in order to actually deliver achieve what you want to achieve with your signature speech. And 4, see this as a branding exercise. It's about branding and marketing. You need to make a social impact with your stories, and this is a huge part of the possibilities of actually reaching out to those people who need your help. They need you.
Exactly.
Yes. Don't forget.
I think you summarized it perfectly, Eva. Yeah.
Thank you, Cécile. And as you know, Rock Your Stories is always here for you. We have this Facebook page. Rock Your Stories is for your business story. It's for all of you business storytellers out there who wants to use storytelling as a tool to gain social impact and inform, inspire, and motivate your people those who you are here to serve. And don't forget, you are the superheroes, so don't stop, rock your stories. See you soon in another talk show. Thank you so much, Cécile.
Thank you.
Love to having you.
Thank you, Asa. That was great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I hope that everybody who listens just really felt the power. They need to do it. Yes. Sign up for your signature speech now, today.
Listen to the Jedi. Listen to the Rock Your Store, Social Impact Rock Star, whoever I am. You need to be pumped up and ready to go out and shine on the business stage, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, yes. No, enough. You feel it, right? Go do it. Bye.